courtesy of Banggood.com. They were nice enough to send me out the brand new Eachine E010S Pro 65mm quadcopter with a built-in OSD, and this is it here. And you might be wondering, well, this is not the one I know of because it usually has a sharp canopy. Yeah, that's right, it did, until I had a really bad crash into concrete on a windy day and decided to take off. And after that, I found out the quadcopter flies a lot better with it off. And the reason being, if any wind gets caught in here, it kind of blows the canopy back the way. So you won't get the same, it won't fly the same as it would with the canopy on and without it. And I do believe the quadcopter flies a lot better without it. Because if I was to blow at the canopy right now, there you go. So that's what's happening when you're in the air and you're flying fast. It's the air is getting into that canopy and causing the quadcopter to tilt backwards. So if you ever find that happen to you, take the canopy off. And the other thing is, the canopy is held in with quite long screws. And once you take the canopy off, you don't get extra screws to hold the main board down, and you'll have to find your own screws to do so. The version I got is the Far Sky version. You can also get it in the FL Sky version. What's so special about this one is it's got a barometer. You can set that up within Betaflight itself, so it's got altitude hold. But I haven't tested that. I didn't try that out. I didn't feel the need to use that. And it is also a step up version from the older version, which is this one. I also reviewed this. I'll put a link in the description below. This is the Eachine E010S, and I do believe they still sell it, and it runs clean flight with no OSD. As you can still see, it's in brand new condition because I've flown it a couple of times, but I was never a Whoop fan. But all of a sudden, I'm getting inundated with these kind of Whoops. Now, what do you get? You get a spare set of props. They're about 30mm in width. And you get foam tape. You'll need that because I had to use a bit of foam tape. And you get 2 rubber bands as well. You get a prop tool. You get a USB charging adapter, a screwdriver. Now, it takes about 40 minutes to charge the battery up. And the battery you get is a 1-cell 240 milliamp 3.7 volt 45C battery with a lossy style connector. Now, I would have preferred that if they used the HV LiPo batteries, because you would have got a lot more punch out of the quadcopter if I was to compare this to the Eachine QX65. Now, the weight of the battery itself is 7 grams. The length of the battery is 34mm. The width of the battery is 19mm. And the thickness of the battery is 6.5mm. Now let me get that out of the way and show you the manual. The manual's great. It tells you how to bind it up. It's quite straightforward. This is the first time I've ever had a Far Sky quadcopter because I had to buy a Taranis QX7, which I have never used before in my life, but it was quite easy to set up if you look through a couple of videos on YouTube. Now, what had happened to me was kind of funny. I flew the quadcopter up the hallway and it dropped out. And I was wondering what was going on. I didn't have an antenna. And as you can see here, that is not the stock antenna. It's one of another Eachine quadcopter. One of the boards had fried. And I took the antenna off that and I just put it on there because I don't know what happened to the antenna. I just had no antenna. But anyway, let's move along. The motors that you get are quite powerful motors. They're Race Star 615 motors. They're 59,000 RPM and they are plug and play. So they're pretty easy to switch over. The weight of the quadcopter is 22 grams. The flight controller is a Lemon F3 flight controller board, and the whole camera system is a 3-in-1 AIO 40 channel 25 milliwatt VTX. Now you can switch it between PAL and NTSC. The way you do that is you press the button at the side. There's a little button at the side here, right there, and if you press and hold it for 3 seconds at the bottom right hand corner of the board on the VTX, you'll see a blue light. That means it's in NTSC. If you press and hold the button for 3 seconds, it will go off, and that means that you are running in PAL. But if you have the little shark canopy on, you don't need to take it off to change the channels. There's an easier way. Just press the side of the canopy and you'll feel the button, and that will save you from taking the canopy on and off. But I do highly recommend that you take it off. Like I said, when the wind blows to it, it's going to blow the quadcopter if you're flying fast or in windy conditions. I learned my lesson from it and it's never going back on again, and this flies amazing without it. I don't even know why they thought of that idea of putting a shark on it. I really don't. Now on to the rest. The camera itself is an 800 TVL camera. It's 150 field of view. Now to change channels and bands, if you press the button just one time, you'll change the channel. If you press the button for like a second and a half, you'll change the bands. Right, okay, now you'll want to know, how do you get this quadcopter set up? Now, it's quite easy. Let's get the transmitter over here. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to create a new model in your transmitter for the quadcopter. Now, once you've done that, let me just go into the model. You just press the button there. If you don't know how to use this transmitter, there is plenty of videos out there on the internet. Like I said, I'm brand new to this transmitter, but I've learned a bit from looking at videos. Right, well, we're already selected the model. Now we want to press page up, and once we're in there, we want to change it to D8 and get ready to bind. So what you want to do is you want to press the bind button for 3 seconds. You'll see the blue LED light go solid, then it will slowly start to flash. After that, you want to hit the bind, and after that, you'll see the light change again. Press the bind button to stop the bind procedure. Unplug the battery, turn off the transmitter, turn the transmitter back on, and plug your battery in. But we want to hook this up to the computer. Okay, first thing first, you want to plug in your quadcopter to Betaflight. Now I must apologise because it's not running Betaflight 3.2.2, but it's running Betaflight 3.2.3, and my quad's not on a level surface, and I also did calibrate my accelerometer, and just make sure it's on a flat surface when you do so. Apart from that, I changed nothing here. Let's go on to ports. As you can see, this is exactly, I've left it as it is. Let's get on to configuration. It's brushed. Motor stop is on. I can't remember if I changed this from 2 to 4. Accelerometer is on and the barometer is on. I should have turned that off. I just left it. And make sure these settings, make sure FR D, make sure all this is right. And what I did is I turned air mode off so I can put air mode on my modes. We'll get to that shortly. Don't forget, anything that you change here, hit save. If you don't hit save, nothing will get saved. On the power and battery, I didn't touch anything. PID tuning, I left it as stock. Now let's get on to the receiver. I've not got my transmitter on at the moment, but I'm going to turn it on right now. And there you have it. All of my sticks are moving absolutely perfectly. But what I had found was my quadcopter was spinning like I don't know what over at the corner here. And the reason for that is, for some crazy reason at the top here, it was set to AETR1234, and I had to change that to TAER1234, and it stopped spinning all over the place. And you can see that as my arm switch is auxiliary 1 and my mode switch is auxiliary 2. Now let's get on to the modes itself. As you can see, like I said, my arm switch, and it's arming away quite nicely, and when it arms it goes straight into angle mode. I don't even know why I have horizon mode, because I don't use it. I should take that off. I was just lazy and I left it as is. Barometer mode was on, I took it away. Now if I click my auxiliary 2 switch to its third position, I am now in air mode. Like I said, don't forget to hit save. And in the motor tabs, everything's perfect. Now let's go into the OSD. Remember, you can change everything around to the way you want it. You can even take that lemon F3 off, and it tells you if you're in stability mode or air mode or whatnot, and your low voltage of the battery, and of course how much voltage of the battery it's using, and the timer. You can change that all to your lighting at the sides. Also, you want to change here on the right hand side. It says the capacity of the battery would be something like 2000. Change that to 260, because that's the size of battery that comes with the quadcopter. And don't forget to click save. But before you do all that, go into CLI and type dump, and after you type dump, hit enter. And what you want to do is you want to copy everything here, everything, the whole lot, and you want to get Notepad up. You want to copy the whole lot and just paste it into Notepad and keep it somewhere safe. That is your default configuration for your quadcopter, and that is before you make any changes, okay? Just in case you make any mistakes, then you can reload that config back onto your quadcopter. Now, that's it for the whole quadcopter. The setup of Betaflight and your transmitter. Just don't forget, you need to set up 2 switches on your transmitter to get it running your quadcopter. Now, all I have to say is, don't forget to check the links in the description below. It helped to support the channel immensely. Without you clicking those links, I wouldn't get anywhere, and I wouldn't get any quadcopters into the review. And right now, I'm going through a tough patch, so I really need a lot of help and support. So please click those links. And as always, my friends, enjoy the flight video. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, my friend, happy flying.